If
I
you
have
are so powerful, you don't need no you don't need any PowerPoint.
no, I have some PowerPoints and I have some
Yeah,
notes too that I'd like to talk. So I have all the things
very good,
available to use.
very good. We are
Okay.
waiting.
So should I ask like to share screen or something like that?
Yes, but
You have
let's
to allow me
after 1 hour, the midst of the time, it's your time to present.
after 1 hour.
Yes, it's good.
Okay. So I'm gonna try to connect by my phone and save the
Uh,
battery on my laptop because my
yeah.
PowerPoints and all that. Yeah. Okay.
Yes, you have 1 hour time just now. If you want to change your location and go to a better location, it's you have time. No problem.
Okay. Now I'm
If you
just I'm
don't
gonna
want, it's good.
yeah. I'm gonna stay here, but I'm just gonna use to charge the
Okay.
laptop and I use my phone. One minute, I'll be back.
Okay. No problem.
That
What about the previous week topics, Luisa? Did you study hard? You're mute.
Yes, kind of.
Is it hard for you or not? This
um,
lesson.
it's okay, I would say.
Okay.
So I think the learning engagements are challenging sometimes.
Yeah.
So it takes some time to do it, but it's fine.
What about you, Wayne? Are you good with this course, or it is difficult for you, or no? It's easy.
I think I would agree that the learning engagement is a bit challenging.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, this past week wasn't too hard, but the week before about uh, the article on Harvard Business Review, that one was, it was fun to read, but it was hard to, at the end of it, just, trying to really see if you understood it was kind of hard, so coming up with my own words was pretty difficult, but yeah, other than that, I'm having fun because my company is going to like a major change right now, and this has been very relevant, and I can like see myself using some of the things that they talk about in the article literally the next day, so it's been really helpful.
But I love your course. It's a very good course for your total life, not even for your professional life.
Yeah.
You can use the concepts in your organization, your family, your society, because basically it is about change, basically. But specifically, it is about change in your organization. So
Sorry, I'm gonna have two accounts joined in because I'm using my phone for the audio and then computer for my video because I don't have my headphone that connects to my phone, my computer. So just to make it easier.
So I'm waiting to come other students to start the course. And today we will talk about one of the greatest problems in human history. Also in psychotherapy, in psychology, in counseling, in mental disorders, in family therapy, in couple therapy, in other types of changing, one of the greatest and so well-known, very well-defined problems is change resistance. And also in organization, it is a very, very big problem because when people have change resistance, they cannot accept the concept of change, and sometimes they create some barriers against the creating of change and improving the change, developing the change. So one of the basic parts, one of the basic steps for change is preparing people for change. Also, we have talked about it in, I think, chapter 4, about the preparing people or readiness, people creating readiness to change. Do you remember anything about it? How we can make people ready for creating change, for accepting change, and for go with the change in an organization? Or is there any private or personal view about it? Hi, Marcelina, welcome.
Good afternoon, Professor.
Captain.
All good?
Yeah, everything is good. What about
I'm
you?
the first. Oh, I'm okay. I'm surviving. I'm survivor.
Yeah, everybody is survivor. Something more than surviving. Why only survivor?
Yeah. You know, life.
Yes.
And on the meantime, study.
So we were talking about creating readiness for change. Wayne, Marcelina, Luisa, what about the ways to creating preparedness for change, readiness for change?
One possibility is to give employees a framework so they know what's going to happen and also the reason behind it. So managers or the change agents have to tell the employees why it's happening, and if people understand why it's happening, it's a lot easier for them to accept it.
Let me talk about it so widely, not with the concentration only on the organizations. Let's talk about it in a wide perspective. For example, in family, in relationship, not only in job, not only in organizations. Even in a very wide range, we can talk about the society and communities. For example, now you see that we have a healthy crisis, so-called COVID-19. And we need some changes, some serious changes in daily life of people. For example, having a face covering always, or social distance. But you see a lot of people doesn't do it so good. It is the necessity of change. There is a very absolute necessity for change. But a lot of people don't do anything on good procedure for doing the healthy procedures, for the hygiene procedures or preventing procedure. What's the problem? Is it enough learning people how to do things for doing the good things or not? Why people know something but didn't act based upon the knowledge? What's the problem? What's the gap? Everybody knows that smoking has a lot of health problems, creates a lot of health problems. But a lot of people, even physicians, you see that, hi, Hussam Eldin. You see that they smoke, for example. Or now, just in COVID-19, you see a lot of people doesn't do the healthy procedure, the healthy orders that they should do. Why? What is the main factor of change resistance? Is it only lack of knowledge, as Luisa said? Is it enough to giving a huge knowledge to people to create change, deep change, or not?
It's not only lack of knowledge, but also lack of motivation. So people are used to what they are doing, and it can be difficult to switch old patterns
Mm-hmm.
because they are very often are people focused on short-term solutions
Uh-huh.
and not on the long-term solution.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
So
this is
first,
the example of non-conformism, typical.
everybody's non-conformist.
Now, all those people who they want to follow the procedure, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard. They are the people like that, and it's not because they don't feel comfortable. Sometimes they just don't do that because they are like that. I had the that around me, and they are so stubborn, and that's it. But this changes is
Why people are stubborn? Why? Is it lack of knowledge, lack of understanding, lack of energy, as Luisa said, lack of motivation, inspiration?
well. I
Why?
hear
It's a very important question. Why people become stubborn? Why?
because they're scared. They don't want to changes.
Fear of change. Why people have fear of change? Because of laziness, habitual behaviors, regular life, comfort zone. What is the major factor that people have a lot of fear of change and after that resistant to change? Why? Lack of knowledge, motivation, habitual behavior, and personality characters, personality traits, like for example, being a stubborn, okay, other things.
Maybe financial costs.
Financial cost, sometimes financial cost. But
Well,
a lot of changes helps you to save your money. In long term, a lot of changes, for example, when you pay for insurance all your life, it is very high cost for you. But because you think that one day in the future you will have some problems, you pay a lot of money. Why? Because there is a culture for insurance. Other things, yes, financial costs.
because when you are when you do that step for changes, it's kind of like you become a student from the teacher position, and everything you have to start over again, and people they don't like that. It's like changes in the life. For example, when you take divorce, then you have to start over again, right?
Yes. It is hard. It is hopefully. It is catastrophizing. It is hopeful to future, but fear of future. It's different person by person. Hi, Kenneth. Welcome. It is different from one person to another person. It is dimensional, a lot of dimensions, a lot of factors, interfering a lot of factors to determine what is your reaction to possible change. Welcome, Chinea. So we can go to share a screen, start. Okay. Not because I am your instructor in this course, not because of that. Because the importance of change and have a good analysis for reasons for logic behind the change and for managing the change in all aspects of your life, please study this course very carefully for your own self, not only for your final grade. Study this course very carefully. It can help you in all aspects of your life. Every time leader changes or great change. You are confronting with a lot of changes in your life. And if you know how to manage or how to handle the change problems, the changing issues, at first you will be happy. Why? Because the sense of control and sense of power is the origin of to be happy in all aspects of your life. Every time in every aspect of your life that you don't have a sense of power, a sense of control, a sense of dominancy, you will not be happy because it's a sense of weakness. So handling the change can help you to have a good sense of overcoming the barriers, to sense of power against and on the issues you have in life. Because of that, highly recommended to you that study this course very carefully, line by line, not only because of your final grade, because of using them in all aspects of your life. Okay. At first, we have learning objectives here. Resistance to change, causes of resistance. It's a major part of this course, of this week. Symptoms of resistance, active symptoms and passive symptoms. Managers and resistors. Managing resistance and change image and resistance. At first, again, you know that when you repeat again and again and again, it is the basic root of learning. Very traditional way of learning is repeat and repeat and repeat. Because of that, every week before entering the main course of that week, I will talk and I will ask you about the change images of change. We have six images of change management. Who is the first to answer? What are the 6 images of change management? First, we have 2 dimensions. One vertical, secondly, it is horizontal. What are the dimensions of change, images of change management? What are the styles of change management? 2 styles. 1, 2. What are they, Luisa?
One is controlling and one is shaping.
Controlling and shaping. Controlling the present behaviors and shaping the new activities. Thank you. And what other rows? 3 rows, 3 and 2 is 6.
It's about the intended outcome, partially intended or not intended.
And partially, yes.
Partially.
Fully intended, partially intended, and unintended. So because of that, we have 6 images of change managers. Change managers who want to control the activities, fully intended, they are called fully intended and controlled.
Director is for
Director, yes. And the next one is someone who want to control the activities, partially intended. He or she is called, anybody others? Chiniye?
Is it a coach?
No. Someone who want to control the activities, partially intended. He or she is called? Anybody else except of Chineye and Luisa? So my students don't work so good. I am worrying about the final grade. What's your problem with this course? Also, I love you to visit you again in the next semester, but not for the same course. I will be so happy to visit you again in this next semester, but for a new. Wayne, Chineye, Marcelina. What is the title of the change manager who want partially intended controlled activities? The first one, director. The second one is
Navigator.
Navigator.
Yes, thank you. Open book answers are always good answers. And the third one, someone who controls the activities. Unintended is
Caretaker.
Caretaker.
caretaker. Thank you. And the other one, change manager who wants to shape the new behaviors, create the new behaviors. Full intended is called It's my
Coach.
job. Coach, it's my job. And second one, someone who wants to shape the behaviors, and partially intended is called
Interpreter.
Thank you. And the last one is called
Nurturer.
Okay. I hope at the end of the 8th week, you know at least these 6 images of change management, because one question is about it. At least you can fail this course with the one answering to one question. It's good for you. Okay. Let's go to the other. It's a very famous sentence. Despite assertion to the contrary, people are not against change. They are against royal edicts. It's the first sentence. Okay. 5 components of individual readiness. It's about the chapter 4. 5 components of individual readiness and 5 components of a stakeholder management. You want to create a change in your organization. You have 2 targeted people, 2 target work for readiness to change. 1, individuals, 2, stakeholders. 5 components of individual readiness are: believe that change is necessary, first one. Believe that change is an appropriate response to the other motivation, other motives of your company, other stimuli of your company. If people in your company believe that change is a good and appropriate response to the external changes of your company, they think, yes, we are ready to change because it's an appropriate answer, appropriate reply to the external motives. Perceived individual capability to implement. How do they think about themselves for implementing the change, and believe that resources will be provided. How do they think about the resources they have for creating change, and personal evaluation of costs and benefits that we will talk about it just now. And 5 components of a stakeholder management are: identify all stakeholders at first. Everybody should be invited. Establish what they expect to gain or lose. Check their track record on response to change. Use planned beliefs to strengthen support and address concern by reducing losses. These are the factors that a manager can use in a company to make the stakeholder ready for future changes. So we have resistance to change. In the introduction part, we should say that resistance is a very real and common issue that is often faced by change managers during the change process. So it is not surprise to experience change resistance. It is very common in the process, in the path of change management. Always change resistance is very, very common. And resistance to change may be the reason for the failure of an attempt change. However, the reality may be more complex. So it is also very ordinary, very public, very regular in change process, in the process of creating change, that you can experience the change resistance. It is very popular, no surprise. But it is not healthy. Why? Because sometimes, not always, sometimes the change can end to failure, the company, to bankruptcy. Failing to change can end to bankruptcy and other problems for the organization. So we are so open-minded to accept the change. We are not surprised. As a change manager, we are not surprised. Some part of the change management process is confronting and facing with the change resistance in the individuals, in the stakeholders, in the market, out of the organization, inside the organization. We are not surprised to confront with the change, but we should know how to handle it. We should know how to manage the change. If you cannot handle the change, if you cannot manage the change, if you cannot handle the outcomes or side effects of the change, or we cannot plan the change process, change will become a barrier against your job, against your development, against your organizational growth, and other parts that are very important, vital to your organizational development. So confronting with change is very, very, very normal. No problem. We are confronting with change in all aspects of your life, our life, and in organization, it is very normal. The major part is you know how to change, how to handle the change, how to manage the change. For example, sometimes poor management of the change process can be more at fault than resistance. In such a situation, resistance might even be a valuable warning sign. Warning sign for what? Warning sign for this, that you know how to manage the change. Is there any view about it?
What are you asking?
We provide you about the normality of change. It is very normal in the organization that we confront with the change. How do you think about it? Is it good for your company to provide, to confront with change or not?
Yes, because
Why? Why?
change is also a sign of improvement. So, I mean, nobody ever wants to stay the same. I said that in one of my learning engagements. Nobody typically wants to stay the same as a company. And the resistance that comes with that is, you know, not having a plan.
Yeah.
So that kind of puts resistance on change, or holds it back a little more, set it back, however you want to put it. But yeah.
You see here, thank you. You see here that we say change resistance is sometimes a warning sign. Warning what about? Warning sign for what? For poor management? For poor future of the company? What is the content of warning sign? When you look at the change resistance as a warning sign, what is this change resistance warning about?
It could be a variety of things. I think resistance to change is, it could be poor management. It could be people not wanting to do it, period, at all. But yeah, the resistance of change, that could be a number of things.
Is it a warning sign of poor management or not?
It could be, yes. It could be.
Two things are normal in the organization. First, need to change. Need to change is normal. Second, change resistance is also normal. So what is the weak point of the management when you say change resistance is sometimes is a warning sign of a poor management, for a poor management? We say change is normal, change resistance is normal too. So what is the relationship between the change resistance and poor management? In what condition you say, yes, this change resistance is a warning sign of poor management? This is my question. Anybody else except of Kenneth?
What are the warning signs of what?
Do you have any view, Wayne, or not? Okay. It is the relationship between the change resistance and poor management. As a good manager, one of the things you should manage is the change. Because one important part, one crucial, one critical part of your job, of your duty as a manager is change management. It's very important. So if you cannot manage the change, it is the warning sign of your poor managerial skills. Because of that, I have a lot of stress on this course just now, in these weeks, in these 8 weeks. Why? Because one of the greatest, one of the basic, one of the crucial, one of the everyday usable managerial skills is change management. Every day. Is there any great change every day in an organization? No. But the small change? Yes. So it is a warning sign of poor managerial skills in our organization. If we have some changes need to change, and after that we have some persistence change resistancy, and we ask the manager, what are you doing in this organization? Why you cannot handle the change resistancy? Why you cannot prepare, make ready people, make ready your employee, your co-workers for the future change or for the present change? Why they are always resistant to the need to change of the organization? It is your problem as a manager if you cannot make people prepared, make people ready to accept the change, to follow the change, to go with the change, and to love the change. Why? Because the nature of development is change. The second one, we say sometimes change is welcome. No resistance, because it is seen as having benefits. We will talk about it. How can you pursue other people that don't worry about the changes? It is WIIFM. What is in it for me? WIIFM. What is in it for me? And WAMT. It is what is against me. WAIM. What is against me? WIAM, sorry. WIAM. These are two parts. What is in it for me and what is against for me. Cost and benefits. Profits and losses. Okay? If you can talk to your people, talk to your employee, talk to your partner, talk to your stakeholders about what is in it for me or what is in it for them, and what is against me or what is against them, they will be prepared to accept or reject the change. It is very, very simple, very simple. It is simple, but not easy. Why? Because verbal communication and have a good verbal skills is very important. Also, use of your body language to create a trustable atmosphere for giving the serenity, the peace of mind about the future to your people, to your co-workers, to your employee, to your family member, that yes, it is hard, but it is hopeful, it is good, it is profitable for everybody in the organization, for every family members, for everybody in the society and other parts of the community or society you want to create the change. Because of that, you should know some good verbal skills and interpersonal effective communication skills. It is very important for everybody, especially for the managers. If you cannot have a good communication with your co-worker, you are boss, you are not manager. So a boss is for tribe, not for organization. Because of that, interpersonal effective communication is very important for every manager at all levels of management. Low-level management, mid-level management, high-level management, general manager, or leaders, okay? Myth of resistance to change. The first myth is Resistance to change is a natural human response. No. Why? Because if it was natural, why a lot of body to want to change their career, their family, their husband, their wife, their society, their country? If resistance, not change, change is normal and natural. But if change resistance, your resistance to change was natural, why people love to change? If they are resistant, they should not love change, but they love change. Why they are not bored with the careers? They are always bored with the careers. The careers and jobs and family and society will be boring for everybody. Why? Because of repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat, no change. Because of that, resistance to change is not natural. If it was natural, nothing will change. But you see that a lot of people change. A lot of conditions will change. And resistance to change is stronger with age. It is completely false. I have a good news for you. More age you pass, when you become older and older and older in every age. It is not important about the old age. For example, 30 in contrast with 20, 40 in contrast with 30, because you think that some part of your life is not in the manner you dreamed before this time. In the previous time, you dream about the future. Every time, every year, you get older and older. You think, sorry, I'm going to the end of my life. So you will have a good pressure for changing. So it is a false belief that resistance to change is strengthened with age. No, resistance weakened with age. And resistance is a problem. No, resistance is a part of the process of making a change. Is a part of the process of creating a change. Resistance sometimes is a good sign for evaluating and re-evaluating the change process. So these are the major myths about the problem. Okay. And after that, yes. Support for change. Outcomes that can encourage support for change. 1, security. 2, money. 3, authority. 4, status. 5, responsibility. Next, better conditions. Self-satisfaction. Personal contacts and less time and effort. These are the favorable outcomes for people who are under pressure of creating a change for your employee, for your co-workers, for your family members, for your followers. When you want to change some things, there are some outcomes that make a good vision, a good perspective about creating change. At first, it is security. Increased demand for particular skills. If change shows that, yes, after change, you will have a higher education, you will have a higher level of skills, they have a good outcome, they have a good vision, the good perspective about the change, stronger organizational competitive position, and improved job security. These are the good pressure, these are the good perspective for people who are engaged within the change process, that they will be so happy to make some changes in their life, in their organization and other parts of their life. When they have a good improved vision, good perspective about the future after change, they will be happy and they are ready to make changes, and the change resistance will be reduced. Money, higher remuneration. If they think that after change they will have a higher money, yes, it's a good preparedness for creating change. Authority, promotion, power, more discretion in decision making. Responsibility, increase job scope, visibility, better conditions, improve physical environment, new equipment, self-satisfaction, greater sense of challenge and achievement, and personal contacts, more chances to meet and work with influential people, and less time and effort. These are the outcomes that encourage support for change. 5 ways in which resistance can be used productively. 1, encourage dialogue. 2, clarify the purpose. 3, consider new possibilities. 4, listen to voices. And 5, deal with the past. 1, encourage dialogue. Keep the conversation alive, even with complaints, to increase awareness of the change ideas and allow those affected to think through the implications. What does it mean? How do you think about this sentence? Keep the conversation alive, even with complaints, to increase awareness of change ideas and allow those affected to think through the implication. How can we keep the conversation when we are confronting with a lot of negativism, a lot of ideas against the change? How do you think about it? Is it possible or no? It is a motto, only says something about the change process, but it is not practical. How do you think? When somebody is against you, he or she doesn't want to do the change you want or you think that good for your life or your organization. The text says encourage dialogue, never stop dialogue. Always have a good live conversation with your partner, with your manager, with your coworker, with your employee, with your wife, with your husband, with everybody who is somebody or sometimes against you. But keep encourage and continue the dialogue, conversation. How is it possible? What is the major skill for keeping the dialogue when somebody is not at our side, is not compatible with our idea, he or she is against us? How can we keep dialogue? What is the major skill you need? How do you think about the major skill you need to continue dialogue? Anger management, stress management, time management, interpersonal communication, effective communication, self-awareness, and on. What is the major skill you need to keep your dialogue alive with somebody who is not at your side, who is against you or your idea?
I would say first you have to listen to understand what is his perspective, and then see from there how maybe.
What is this? What is this? What is the name of this skill you say? Do you know? Yes, it is right. But do you know the name of the skill?
So I think the overall is maybe empathy, and then mindfulness.
No, it's not empathy. It is not empathy. Empathy is something else. You are right. The skill is this, but do you know the name of this skill? This is very famous skill.
Maybe mindfulness.
Mindfulness is a part of it, a major component of that skill.
Self-awareness?
No, the name of the skill that Louisa talked about it. That Louisa said right. Yes, it is the same technique, the same skill. We need to make a dialogue alive, even when the other person is against us. But what is the title of this skill for making alive a dialogue? It is very important in every type of conversation. It is what type of listening it is?
Interpretation?
No, what type of listening? We have 2 types of listening. Now in this class, everybody is ready to give me an answer. You are not that type. You don't have that type of listening because you don't listen to me. You are making yourself to give me an answer only. the name of this skill is active listening. Active listening is the major skill you should know to make and to keep a conversation alive, even when there are some oppositional ideas against you or in front of your idea. It is active listening. One of the basic and greatest skill you should know as every type of leader. If you are a mother, you are a leader. If you are a father, you are a leader. If you have a good interpersonal relationship with other one, at least you are a manager. You should manage your relationship. If you are a manager of a company, wow, you are a formal manager. And active listening covers all types of conversation, all types of communication with other people. Active listening, highly recommended to learn it, to use it. It is very simple, very simple. Mindfulness and empathy are two major components of active listening. Active listening has some other components. Two major components are mindfulness and active listening. And empathy. Clarify the purpose. The major problem of people is not that they don't have any goal. Everybody has a goal. The major problem is that they don't have any specific goal. Everybody has a lot of goals. The goal, when a goal is not specific, it's not your goal. It's your dream. It's your wish. It's your desire. One of the basic components of a goal is that goal is specific. Do you know what are the 5 major components of a goal? I think we have talked about it in the previous session, I think. Do you know every SMART goal has 5 components? Do you remember the components of a SMART goal? A SMART, M-A-R-T. SMART goal have 5 components with S, with M, with A, with R, with T. Do you find it in the internet?
Time frame, right?
Mm-hmm. T for timely. S for, Luisa, do you find it?
Specifically,
Specific.
clear, and obtainable.
Achievable, specific, measurable for M, measurable for M, A for achievable, R for real, and T for timely. These are the 5 components of a SMART goal: specific, measurable, achievable, real, and timely. We say SMART goal. The major problem of people is not to have any goal. Everybody has a lot of goals. The problem is that you have a lot of goals. You have a lot of goals. It's a problem. It's not good. It's like that when you want to drive your car, you set a lot of destination for your GPS. GPS will be confused. That doesn't work. It's like your life. It is the basic components of mindfulness. One time, one work. One time, one work. One time, one work. If you want to have a good concentration in every aspect of your life, if you want to reduce your stress very, very low, very, very lower and lower and lower, it's only one sentence is enough. Doing and acting based upon one sentence is enough. I promise. One time, one work. One time, one work. It is the basic part of mindfulness. Because of that, the first part of SMART goals is specific. Clarify the purpose. Those affected need to understand why their roles have to change. Consider new possibility. Are you living in a black and white world? Kenneth, do you live in a binary world? Wayne, do you live in a black or white world or not?
No.
Is it black or white? Absolute points? No. You are living in a world with a lot of probability and possibilities. It is not white or black. It is gray scale. It's not binary, it is decimal. Kenneth, do you want to say anything?
I kind of operate on black and white kind of thing. That's just how I was raised. So that's
no. Black or white, no. Black or white is at the end of the range of colors. Now, it is not about races. It is when we say we are living in a black or white world. It is about the colors, not about the people.
I know what you're asking.
It is in a gray scale. Everything is gray scale. It is change it. It is binary word or decimal word. It is not binary, only 0 and 1. We have a lot of decimal digits between 0 and 1. We are living in a fuzzy world, fuzzy logic world. Listen to the voices, encourage participation and engagement. People want to be heard. And noting concern can generate novel and valuable options. And deal with the past. Current response, it is very, very important. It is very important. You should leave your mind behind. I think, I don't remember which of you I recommended this week, this book, Leave Your Mind Behind, or Power of Now. It's very important. How are you dealing with your past life experience, with your past? It is very important. If you don't have any good experience with change, with past changes in your life, you are not so ready for the future changes in your life. It is very important. So deal with the past. It is one of the ways resistance can be used productively. Current responses to change can be based on the previous failures in which today's manager were not involved. It may be necessary to resolve any leftover issues before going ahead with the new plans. Please pay attention to this point. It is very important. It is very important, very deep and important issue you should consider for preparing people for accepting the change. Current responses to change can be based on previous failures in which today's managers were not involved. It may be necessary to resolve any leftover issues before going ahead with new problems or with new plans. Time doesn't resolve anything. Time always destroys everything. Time doesn't resolve anything. Forgetfulness is not always forgiveness. So you should talk about the problems. You should think about the problems. You should solve the problems, and you should resolve the problems. It's your duty as a human being, as a manager, as a leader. Causes of resistance. Why do people resist change? We can categorize resistance to change in 3 parts: the content or substance of the change. Some people are resistant to the content of change. Some people are resistant not to the content or substance of the change. They are resistant to the process, to the way that you want to create the change, the process through which change is implemented. And some people are not in the oppositional side against the content of the change. Also, they are agree with the process of change. What they have a lower level of uncertainty tolerance, ambiguity tolerance. Because of that, they are resistant to change. They are agree with the content of change. Yes, it is okay to be changed. They are agree with the process of change. But because of this fact that every change, you have a good prediction and some prevention for the future outcomes. Yes, you have good prediction. You should have the knowledge of risk study if you want to create a change. But it is risk study. It is not absolute answers. It is risky answers, but you can handle the riskability of the answers, riskability of the outcomes. But it is not absolute. It is not certain. You should tolerate some levels of uncertainty. Because of that, some people are resistant to the uncertainty of the process of change, the uncertainty that change can generate. It is the basic part and the major part of this course, of this lesson in this week, is causes of resistance. Innate dislike of change, low tolerance of uncertainty, perceived negative effects of change, interest, attachment to the organizational culture, identity, belief that, and other. Okay. At first, innate dislike of change. Innate dislike of change, it is not wise to assume that a dislike of change is a necessarily an innate human characteristic that we all share. It is not necessarily innate. It is not your natural characteristic of it as a human being. Why? Because a lot of people want to change. If it is natural, for example, your DNA as a human being is natural. Your body shape is natural. Your sexual identity is natural. Your skin color is natural. Your family is natural. These are the natural. You accept them as your nature and you love it and you accept it. Why not? And it is not changeable so easily. But change resistance is not a natural humanistic characteristic of human being. And as individual, we vary in our approach to disposition to change, to our tendency to change. Some of us prefer routine, become tense and anxious when confronted with change. We love routine life. In science of self, we call them steady people, steadiness. A steadiness is the character that wants to have permanent routine life. He or she is very persistent. He or she doesn't like any type of change, any type of from this stage to other stage. Always the same way, always the same game. And some of us dislike routine, are animated by new ideas and plans, and are comfortable with changing our minds when presented with fresh information. 1 minute, everybody, 30 seconds or 1 minute, talk about your tendency to change. Who wants to be routine, like to have routine life? David, Chineye, Wayne, and Samal, also Wayne is here. Where are you? It is mandatory to have on camera, not off camera. Okay. Wayne, do you love routine life or do you love change? Which is your character, first or second?
I do like changes. I do get bored of routines.
Kenneth, routine life or changeable life?
I do like change personally because I just don't I'm just not the type of person that'll just stay the same, especially in the things that I do and the goals that I have. You just can't afford to stay the same. Or
Do you love risky behaviors?
I do.
Risky managerial behaviors, not risky personal.
Yeah, I do. I do like risky behaviors just because you got to take risks to learn what you can do, what you can do, what your limit is.
Do you think you are a courageous man?
Very courageous.
I love it. Lisa, what about you? Are you courageous?
It depends, I guess.
You are conservative or courageous? In managerial skills, not in private skills. Private skills is not about my question.
So is it a new question or is it the?
As a manager, do you
Learning.
think you will be a good, a conservative and not risky manager, routine management, or not? Risky or not? It is optional sometimes. What is about your character? How is your assessment of your character, evaluation of your character, deeply assessment?
I think it would be somewhere in between. I like changes, but I also like routines. So in everyday life, I tend to do the same things, but like long term, I like changes, like overall. So it's
So
like,
totally you think that you are conservative and some type of a steadiness in personality. Don't love a lot of changes in your routine life.
yeah, everyday life, I think I prefer doing similar things, but I'm also, I would say, flexible. So for example, I don't have any problems with moving and so on. So I don't know, both for me.
Marcelina, what about you? Do you love change, forceful change, or you are volunteer to have some changes?
I hate routine. That's why I work for airlines. If I will be close in the office, I will die after 1 week. I have tried, and actually, one of my bosses, as a punished me one time, they put me for 2 weeks in the accounting area, and that was the most horrible life for me. And I didn't handle that. No, and then I was grateful that I could fly to the Boeing, because down there, even in the ground, I will not feel that good. And for my workers, obviously I try to have a team who like to play the same games like me, which is I didn't like people around me who are always sad or always doubts. That wasn't acceptable for me. So I'm the person who is following step by step, and I like to encourage myself by myself, and I'm expecting more and more, which is I even promote myself by myself one time in work. So my boss, he just agrees. So he knew that he never seen this like that, but he will agree this because I changed my position, because my workers, they didn't want to listen to me because I was like kind of like the same position. So I just went down and I changed myself and I upgrade myself, and then I say now I have a control on them. So
That's good.
now they work.
That's good. Chineye, David, Husamalin, are you there or not? You are muted, and also your camera is off. David,
Yeah,
are you there?
I'm right here listening to everything you guys saying. Wait, I can see cameras on now.
How do you think about yourself? Do
According to
you like risk or not? Do you like change or not?
I think I'm a risk averse. I like to take risk, you know. I like taking risk, and I believe that risk it's a necessary thing, and it comes in proportion. And as an economist, I always put risk on those scale, you know, to take any decision.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Everybody is risky here, except of me and Luisa. Everybody is risky here. Everybody loves risk here. I'm joking. I love risk. I love
In
risk.
in communist countries, I want to add, many years there is a sign that who is not risk never drink the champagne, just open.
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
I love it.
And that's true.
Yes.
So what was the expression in communist country? Never drink the champagne?
Who never risk is never drinking the champagne.
Oh, okay.
Champagne is the sign of celebration for your success.
Yeah.
When you have a good celebration for success, yes, have a good champagne. No risk, no pain, no gain.
Yeah. Just open.
Yes. Okay, I love it. And the second one is low tolerance of uncertainty. There are individual differences in our tolerance of uncertainty and ambiguity. If you are not confident that you have the skills and capability that the proposed changes will demand, then the uncertainty will be magnified. Uncertainty can, of course, be reduced and support is strengthened by making clear the strategic intent of the change and the actions that are expected of those involved. The key point here is that lack of support for change may not be due to overt resistance or apathy, but to uncertainty and ambiguity based on lack of information, a lack that can be remedied. So, if you want to reduce, at first, in confrontation with uncertainty, in confrontation with the ambiguity, we should know 2 points. The first point is enough information. It is about cognitive part of confronting with uncertainty, confronting with ambiguity in all aspects of your life. At first, you should gather a lot of information about the situation. You want to have good decisions, maybe risky decisions, maybe non-risky decisions. Maybe decisions with a lot of change resistance, or maybe resistance with no change resistance, or no need to change even. You should have a good and multi-dimensional aspects about the decision you want to make. And after that, at the end of the job, at the end of the process, still you have a lot of ambiguous, uncertain situation. In that position, you should have a good ambiguity tolerance, uncertainty tolerance. It is emotional, it is not cognitive. Cognitive part, it is about the information. Emotional part, it is about the tolerance. Together, you have a good personality as a manager or leader for handling the uncertain parts of your decisions. Perceived negative effects of interest. We say, we talk about WIIFM, what is in it for me, and WAIM, what's against against me. What is it against me? You should know the benefits and the costs. Okay, the term interest can cover a range of factors. It is not only financial factors. It is not financial or money-based interest. Authority, status, rewards, and opportunity to apply expertise, membership of friendly network, autonomy, security. People find it easier to support changes when their interests are not threatened. It is very important. People find easier to support changes when their interests are not threatened, and they may resist when they perceive that their interests will be damaged. It is about the perception, not about the reality. About your perception, about your perception. Sorry, I do it. It's good. Sorry. It's our perception about the outcomes of the change. If you perceive that, yes, it's good for me, I have a good benefits after the change, your change resistance will reduce. You think that you will be threatened by the change resistance. No, change resistance will go up. Two mental barriers can determine the acceptance of change initiatives that are seen as inconsistent with the current organizational identity. Passive resistance and active resistance. Passive resistance, apathy or anxiety, can occur when the meaning and purpose of the change have not been made clear. It is not clear, the meaning, the procedure of change. And active resistance can be triggered when change is seen to be in direct conflict with key aspects of the organizational identity. We are talking about the change, but the meaning of change, the outcome of change, the purpose of change, if it is clear, we have active resistance. If it is not clear, you have passive resistance. You don't know anything about the why you should accept the change. Because of that, because of lack of knowledge, you have passive resistance. And the strategies for change management to avoid change that carries such threats, to present proposals in a way that minimize challenges to the current order, and to develop an overwhelmingly compelling case for fundamental culture change if threats to current assumptions cannot be minimized or avoided. So first is to avoid. Second is to minimize. If it is not avoided or minimized, you should develop an overwhelming compelling case for fundamental culture change. Okay, have a good break for 10 minutes. After that, at first, we have a good presentation for 10 minutes by David about the master of success. Here he is called Elon Musk. And after that, we will go for the other parts of the course. And at the end, you have a good weekly course. After 10 minutes, be here, please. David, are you ready? David, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
David, you should unmute yourself. You are muted.
There's something wrong.
I don't know. Okay, we are waiting for David. And until David came again here, we can call for the, and after that, David will come. Okay. We are talking about the attachment to the organizational culture and identity as another cause of resistance. Two mental barriers can undermine the acceptance of change initiatives that are seen, and we talk about it. Perceived breach of psychological contract. Our understanding of the nature of the reciprocal rationale that we have with an employer has been called the psychological contract. A breach or violation of this contract occurs when employees believe that the employer is no longer honoring their side of the deal. When organizations fail to respect employees' interests, the low trust relationships and levels of cynicism that invariably result severely constrain the potential for effective a strategic change. The more the organization had fulfilled its promises in the employee's perception, the less the employee resisted organizational change. By maintaining good psychological contacts with employees, organizations can build trust, which could prevent resistance to change. How do you think about it?
I'm back.
David, are you ready now?
Yeah. I
Okay.
think internet connection was logging down. Am I ready now? You guys
Yeah.
ready? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Should I share my screen or something? I can hear. I can listen to you.
Take 2 minutes.
Should I just choose?
Yes. I should. Do you want to share something?
I want to share screen.
Yes. Spotlight, rename, Makecast. Yes. You can now share a screen, okay?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Let me start here. So. I have to read my notes. Let me see. So I can, would you guys mind if I present like this? Because then I can read my notes. So it's everyone listening to me? Are you listening to me, Professor?
Yes, yes, yes.
Perfect. So let's start. So who is Elon Musk? To start, Elon Musk, he was born in South Africa, 1971. So as you guys do the math, he's now 49 years old. He suffered bullying at school when he was young. And since then, he's been studying. Like, he's a good student, as his father said. And his father, he was from South Africa, and his mom was a Canadian. I don't know if you know, but his mom, she was a famous model for 15 years. She was cover of the Time magazine in New York, and that's it. As you guys can see, the picture, I have 3 pictures. One, it's a it's a Elon Musk cover book, the one that I have and use it as a reference here. I have the other picture here is Elon Musk and his one sister, one brother, 2 siblings, and the other one here it's Elon Musk in Pepperdine University. It's Philadelphia University, Pennsylvania.
Your voice is
Pennsylvania
sometimes interrupted. Your voice is sometimes interrupted.
What was interrupted?
Yes, it's good now. It's good. It's good now.
Okay. So when he was 17, he moved to Canada to study, but he didn't stay there for too long. And right after the same year, he moved to US. So he moved to US to study engineer in 1977. So his wife described him as an alpha male, as a professor said a couple classes ago. There's like a few characteristics of an alpha male. It's known as has a purpose, courage, and is not afraid to make decision, and has a strong posture as well. He's known as an Iron Man by a lot of people because of director movies said that he could be the Iron Man in real life. And part of the movie was shot in the SpaceX here in California. And for me, he's the Iron Man because he's father of 7 children, and he has he's an engineer, he's an entrepreneur, visionary, and a billionaire. And I have just another question for you guys. That I don't know if you guys know, but what is this here? This thing, the A12. I don't know if you guys know about it. You guys probably don't know about it, but
It's his baby's name.
that's right, Luisa. Yeah, it's this newborn baby's name. It says is the X-A12. So let's start talking about his entrepreneur life. First, he started with Zip2.com. It was his first startup. So, well, for people who doesn't know, Zip2.com is pretty much like a yellow page online, where you could put your restaurant, your hotel, your clothing store, and people would search for like pretty much what is it like Yelp today. If you go to travel to somewhere, if you want to find some hotel or a clothing store, you at the time you would Zip2. So Zip2, he's and his brother, they started, and they started really young, and they needed like 28,000 from his father in 1995, when they came up with this website. It wasn't like very much popular or this kind of search. So they passed through some financial hardship, and they lived 3 months in their office, like sleeping where they used to work. So, as you guys can see, in 1995 they started. In February 1999, they sold the company for 307 million for Compaq Computer. So it's in only 4 years he could make 22 million out of this whole transaction, no? Because he needed some investment from people, some venture capital investor. So this 307 million, it wasn't all for him and his brother. He only got 22 million from this. But however, after he got 22 million,
can you make it full screen? Can you make it your PowerPoint full screen?
I can make it, but however, if I made it, I cannot read my notes, or at least I don't know how to read my notes.
Yeah, that's it. Yes, push it. Click. Okay, thank you.
Okay. So his next adventure, his next entrepreneurship, it was 1999. Right after he sells Zip2 to Compaq Computers, he came up with X.com, or as I know today, PayPal. I'm just gonna end here to start reading my notes if I can. So after he made 22 million, he invested 12 million of PayPal. And after taxes and all, leaving him with only 4 million for personal use. So for people who don't know, PayPal, it's an online service nowadays. People use PayPal for everything, like to pay other people, to pay stores, or stores using to pay clients and all that. And PayPal, sorry. So after Elon Musk started like doing such a great job with PayPal and all, he was thinking about go public with the company. And this company was making $250 million revenue a year. So it was catching some attention from the big sharks. So suddenly in July 2002, eBay bought PayPal for $1.5 billion. So as you guys can see, from 1999 to 2002, like only 3 years later, he got like around 180 million. Because eBay bought 1.5 billion, but he got 250 million. But after taxes, he got around 160 to 100 million dollars just for himself. So he has so far in 2002 a really good entrepreneur career, as you guys can see. Oh, sorry, I forgot to mention that at the time that Zip2.com was being created, it was the same time that Craigslist. Most of you guys know. Like the same time that Craigslist was being created too. So, I have some note here on my note. As you, if you guys notice, he's kind of bold, right? 1999, when he was creating PayPal. Notice he's kind of bold. He doesn't have too much hair. But right after he came up with SolarCity, what a lot of people think that he is the owner of SolarCity or he runs, but no. He's just came with the capital and the knowledge. But these two right next to him, it is their cousin. It is his cousin. Sorry, from Lyndon and Peter River. They are his cousin, and they are like the CEOs, the guys who run this. Yeah, he provided capital. In 2002, Musk now is the chairman. In 2002, Tesla and Solar City, they did like a collab, solar energy. And I have like a video here. I don't know if you guys want to watch it, if I can show you guys this video. That's easier if I do like this. Leave it. How can I put it? I can't stop. Okay, anyways, I can show you guys the video later. So, like two videos. One between the Tesla and the Solar City. The Solar City now is creating the panels. I don't know if you guys know. And the Tesla is using this kind of panels to catch the energy, to transform the solar energy and store this energy in the house. It use this energy storage to supply all the energy for the entire house. And the Solar City and Tesla, they're doing this collab. And there's another plan for Solar City called America Samoa. It's an island in America here. It's going to be entire fully supplied by the solar energy. There's another short video now I can show you guys, but it's super interesting. So 2 minutes each video. So right after solar, it comes SpaceX. SpaceX is one of the most it's how can I say, wild adventures, more risky adventure of Elon Musk. So Elon Musk created SpaceX in 2002. Oh, before I start even talking about how Elon Musk created SpaceX, if you guys remember, he got 150 to 180 million from the last transaction on the PayPal, right? On the PayPal, see 160. He invested in 100 on SpaceX. So as you guys, for you guys can see, he's really like to take risk. You know, for example, he's been investing a large percentage of his own personal money to fund his own idea and all that. And another funny characteristic I got it from his alpha male personality described by his wife. It is that he used to join a foundation called Life to Mars. No, it's Society Mars or something like this. And he just dropped this foundation. He created his own foundation, Life to Mars. I mean, it's a sign of alpha male personality. And yeah, SpaceX is still nowadays creating business project. He was the director of Mars. Life to Mars. SpaceX is different from the most rocket companies, as you can see, because it is only built its own engine. So it focuses on building the cheapest, the faster engine, and contracts for different parts for the rocket. So his goal it is to basically create life, habitat Mars. So in December 2003, Musk wanted to launch the first launch Falcon 1. The Falcon 1 was the first rocket that he wanted to launch, 2003. However, just the rocket was launched in 2007, March 2007. And in 2012 was the Falcon 9. This 1 to 9, this difference, the numbers I'm looking for a search is just the number of engines that they have. The first only have the first engine. 9 has 9 engines. And in December, in this launch in December 2012, it was the first rocket that went to space and returned to Earth successfully, bringing astronauts and all. So he's been doing a great job since he started the SpaceX again. And after the SpaceX, it comes Tesla. When a lot of people know, it's well known. It's the opposite. A lot of people think he didn't create Tesla. He joined in 2009 and became the CEO in 2008. But Tesla was created in 2003. In 2008, he was considered, since 2008, now 2020, he's considered the longest CEO in that position in that industry. So there's no CEO that's been this much long time as a industry like automobile CEO industry. So it's interesting fact. So Carla, it's been promising to have a good future. They had the first sold to the public, general public, 2009. But it's been in the industry making tests since 2017, so sorry. And in 2020, it was considered the world best electronic car with 500,000 units sold. And if you keep tracking the trajectory, like all the way since Tesla started, you're right in the right bottom. Like a year ago, this is the stocks for Tesla. A year ago, it was a 45. If you see on the top here, and now it's $387. So it's been. He had at least this 2020 year. He had a really good evaluation for. I don't know. It's really good. And here you can see like the market cap was 393 billion. Their value now, it is worth than GM, Ford, and Fiat combined. So nowadays Tesla is the most valuable automobile industry, and it is far from the second place. Here I have an interesting quote from Elon Musk. So when something is important enough, you do it, if the odds are not in your favor. So I think this quote, it really like express himself, how he is, for his ideas about electronic car and trying to create life on Mars, to habitat Mars. And this, I don't know for what. And this, I have a slide of reference, and I have any question for you guys, I'm here to answer.
Excellent.
Nice.
Very, very excellent. Thank you for your good presentation.
Mm-hmm.
In a short time, you give us a lot of information. Any question? So please email me this PowerPoint for me, and after that I re-email it for all the students. Cool. And thank you, it was very good.
Thank you.
I love Tesla. He is one of my idols in thinking and also in behaving.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Let me do it again.
Just see my camera here, and I'm talking like there's the only thing like it's the light on my face. Besides this, you can see. Yeah. Okay.
No problem. No problem. It's okay.
With the car.
And I want to bring you from the request on the exit full screen. Okay.
Should I stop share screen? I didn't listen.
You will stop share screen, and after that I can share a screen myself. Okay, thank you. Okay, David, you should cancel your host. Go to the participant and cancel your host. Then after that, I can share a screen.
Should I click stop recording?